Spring break is here. It's a great time for travel, but it's very important to remember to book a trip you can actually afford. Believe it or not, there are ways to save big money. And Mary is getting some tips from financial expert Jenny Groberg. So good morning, ladies. Mary, how can we save some money?
Everyone needs to save money right now. We have inflation is exposing weak financial habits, which is spending on vacations. And rising costs means a less margin of error in your budget. So we want to talk a little bit about how do you plan a vacation where you can actually have fun but not spend too much, not go over budget.
It's interesting. I've had more people tell me in the last week or two how much they're struggling financially, yet in the same breath they're telling me that they're booking trips to Cabo or to Hawaii with their family or a Disney cruise, and I'm trying to figure out how both can be true.
Do you have a different account for travel? And it's like, okay, this is what we're living on. Is that advised?
I would advise that. That's what I do. I have a separate account for travel, and I have money deposit into that account every month.
Okay.
And then if I want to book a trip, I look at that account and say, my budget is based on this amount of money that's allocated for travel. That's going to determine the duration. That will determine where we go. That determines how expensive it is. So I think it's really important, especially when, 30 to 45% of people are financing vacations. And
meaning putting it on a credit card.
Yeah, okay. Putting it on some kind of a credit card or their line of credit to pay for it. And Utahns have $80,000 on average of personal debt.
Wow.
So it's a really big problem. So if you have that much debt, you should not be planning trips that you can't afford.
And that's more than the average of people's salary.
Yeah,
for a lot of Utahns, they don't even make over $80,000.
It's true.
And that's the debt.
And the reason they're doing this is because they feel like there's going to be this emotional ROI, right? That a trip is going to help them feel less stressed. They'll connect with their family. They'll be a good mom or dad. They'll bond with their partner better. And they're not considering the financial ROI. Yeah. So it's just the short-term emotional ROI. And then they go on the trip and they come home without considering, now what is the emotional ROI? Yeah. Now that might look like overtime. That might be a second job, which actually takes you further out of those relationships. You have even less time because now you're paying your trip debt plus the interest. So it's this mentality shift from short-term to long-term. And I think that's where I want to encourage people is you really need to look at this long-term and the amount of emotional ROI that will come from saving for this ahead of time and then actually capturing those benefits.
Well, and so many people work so hard and it's like, well, I need a break.
Yep.
I deserve this break. I deserve this treat, and they don't think about the
ramifications.
Yeah,
and when people are saying, Jenny, should I borrow against my 401k to pay off my home equity line of credit? And I'm sitting on all these rental properties that I can't sell. But we just did a Disney cruise and now we're going to Hawaii, right? Like that is the problem. And I think that is what's happening in Utah.
Yeah.
Because of a lot of different factors.
Well, and not many people have those kind of investments, but some people are working hard and maybe saving a little money for travel, but now they're using that money for gas.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about that. So if someone has, a budget that they're not even meeting and then gas prices go up, that's exposing weak financial habits. Yeah. You can't afford gas prices to go up 50 cents. You can't afford food costs to go up. If that is the case, you need to readdress your budget and where you're spending your money. And I would just like to reiterate, people really should be spending 30% of their income and putting it in savings.
Right.
Pay yourself, put it in a savings account. 10% should go to retirement, and the other 20% should just go to your savings account.
Okay.
Because we know that your budget will flex, you'll have problems, gas prices might go up, and it can eat into that 20%. With the hopes that at least 10% is actually netting and being saved.
Not touched at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can we have an affordable vacation? I know my husband and I just planned our trips because we have companion fares we have to use before a deadline. And it's like we ended up finding, wait, if we save money on that companion fare, then we have to spend more money on a hotel room.
Yeah.
how do you save money?
It's this credit card game that's a total scam. And that's why you shouldn't use credit cards. I have a credit card, and the same thing. I have this Delta Amex where you have a companion certificate, but it's only valid in certain places at certain times. And actually you can only use this upgrade if you're booking a Comfort Plus, and you end up spending the same amount.
Okay.
So my advice would be plan trips off peak, plan trips based on price and how much money you have saved for that. And I would also say, if you don't have money, or if you know that you're going to have other expenses come up. I had a friend tell me that she has a child with special needs and they anticipate having to pay more for certain therapies. She knows that's coming, and she knows that she can't be spending money on extra travel. So you plan cheaper trips.
Right.
You can absolutely connect with your family, de-stress, and have a good time without going on a cruise or to Hawaii.
A staycation kind of thing,
or
a driving.
Or you go camping, or you go to Moab. I mean,
Right.
Utah has so many different ways to recreate that you don't have to spend a lot.
Yeah, good advice.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much, Jenny. And
Yeah,
if you want to
bet.
check out Jenny's information, we'll put it all on our website. We always post your segments here because it's such great advice to help people save money.
Thanks for having me.